Conditioning down.
Hey, where are you guys? Hold on, we got to catch up here. We're doing something totally different today. Hey, introduce yourself.
I am Kamuela Kahoano Christopher James of the Kahoano Persuasion.
Yeah, and then so we're doing Facebook Live on
Yours.
mine. Oh yeah, and then
and then we're doing IG Live on this one.
Okay, cool. So it's good. How you been?
I'm good. How you been?
I've been busy. Yeah. So as you guys know, but maybe you guys don't know, I've known this guy for a while, and I haven't seen him. Well, I saw him in passing like a month ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but we haven't hung out in like a year, maybe 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Because of COVID.
Yeah, we had pandemic issues.
Yeah, but before we get to it, one of my on Friday nights, I would get my buddies. We'd go see Jesse Savio. Hey, Jesse, at Arnold's.
Love Jesse.
And then we would go to see Keith Batlin down at that Mexican restaurant. Then upstairs to see Tavana at Higher Eccentric. Then to see you at Yokocho's. And if we're still standing, we'd go see Massive Oz with Nick Gertzen. And that was like 5 major guitar players with like 3-block radius. And that was our Friday night for a long time.
4 major guitar players, 1 aspiring guitar player.
And we had a lot of fun. It was good.
It was great. And I enjoyed that. I was like, what was that, the 4th you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that I was the 4th because, things were all loose by then.
Yeah. And we'd end up there and it was fun. And then it was, first I say, hi, Linda. I know you can see it sooner or later.
Oh, hey, everybody that's watching. How's it going?
So what'd you do yesterday?
Yesterday, I was on Kona.
What were you doing on Kona?
Well, I went out with the Kiho'alu Slaki Festival, and we went to the Outrigger, which was the former Sheraton pre-pandemic, and then coming out of the pandemic, it's now the Outrigger Kona Resort. I think that's what it's called. So we went over there at the convention center there, because I think it's the only one on the island, and we had our little concert over there on the island. No, it can't be only one. Maybe Kona, maybe that side of Kona, because I was at the other hotel, Hapuna Beach, is it? I don't even know if that. Okay, never mind. I should probably do some research before I talk about this next time. Anyway, we were at the convention and we had our Slaki festival, and it was going off. It was awesome. We had so many great artists. I can't really name them all in these seconds, but I'm gonna try. So we had Kailua Moon. We had, not necessarily in this order, Kailua Moon. We had Ian O'Sullivan. We had Bobby Madero, Led Ka'apana. We had me. We had...
And your new best friend, Steven.
And Stephen Inglis. We had Ben Kaili. We had... there was so many more. Nakama Kosma and Sean, her husband. And then we had a few other guys that... Hopono, I think, played with them on bass. And I had met him for the first time. Great, very nice guy. And also George Cool. How could I forget George Cool? And, like I said, Brother Nolan with everybody playing at the end. So we kind of had an ending. We sang Hawaii Aloha. And it was great.
That's cool.
That's all I can say about it. It was great. It was great.
Okay, so I have a little inside joke. He's like the whitest Hawaiian I know. And explain your heritage a little bit.
Explain my heritage. I am a mixed bag of all kinds of different peoples. I would say that it's everything from like Native American to Slovenian to Portuguese to Hawaiian, and a good chunk of Hawaiian. So, but I didn't grow up speaking Hawaiian, so it was a second language. It was like ESL for me. I had to kind of pick it up in college, and then just, which is way late in life, and then try to figure it out from there. Learning little tidbits when I was in 3rd grade and stuff. So for those things, I'm sure I can pronounce correctly, but it's been a challenge for me as a Kahoano, to come up and then be expected to, understand and speak full Hawaiian in the ways that, in the many different ways that people are learning it today. But anyways, I digress.
Oh, speaking of that, you come from a musical family.
Yep.
Your mom and your dad both are legendaries.
That's right.
Legendaries. Let's talk about mom first. She's always exciting.
Mom is great. Mom was a singer in Waikiki. She had. I don't think she started out that way. She was more like a beauty queen or something, and she was like surfing on the beach, and that was her thing. And then eventually, people found out that she could sing because she was singing in high school, and then she started singing with the John Rose Show, which then went to Las Vegas and played alongside. I don't want to get all this wrong, but Dick Jensen maybe and Don Ho or Nephi Hanneman. I think that's what it was. Yeah, Nephi. So she was on tour with them. And back home, around the same time, my dad was coming up the ranks and, being a choreographer, dance choreographer at the stages in Waikiki. And, he's a great dancer himself. So, it was good, if he was putting it together. And then you had, who else? But he was also on the radio, and he was kind of bringing to light all these different things. And like I say, coming up the ranks, and eventually he would find himself being one of the main DJs across, the radio waves and stuff for 40 years, something like that.
And he wrote a legendary song that everybody sings every Friday.
That's right. It's Aloha Friday. Well, he had part writing in that, but enough to go ask. But yeah.
And the last time I hung with your mom told me she also sang backup for Elvis.
She was so Elvis came to see their show one night. And Elvis was known for doing that. He was known for, when he was in town and playing his shows, he was known for popping in. One recent story that I came across was Tom Jones. So he walked into Tom Jones' show, and then they became friends. Mm-hmm. And there's another funny story that goes with that about him, like using the bathroom and talking to Tom Jones, trying to push a song from a songwriter that he knew. Anyway, that's very funny. But he did wind up in there, and then he asked my mom, if they would come out to, her and the group would come out to go have dinner with them. So they opened this Chinese restaurant at about like 1 or 2 in the morning, and they all got to know each other, and that's kind of how she has that story there. But yeah, it's not a story that like most people know. It's only when she's trying to talk story show.
Yeah, I mean, your parents are pretty cool. So what have you been up to lately? What's the next thing for you? What have you usually have something going on, either an album or you're writing some songs or you're doing something.
I'm doing something. Yeah,
and playing a lot.
Yeah, so I played all weekend, and then I start up again tomorrow. I'm doing Nico's Pier 38, 12 to 2.
Down the street there.
Down the street, and then Aloha line. By the way, we're at the we're somewhere.
We're at an undisclosed location on a parking lot overlooking the beautiful Pacific Ocean. Usually we do this at Proof, but someone has to pick up his son.
That's right.
Later on, and so
Well, I have to be available.
You have to be available.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. And we got done doing a photo session. We've been planning this photo session for like years. And so things happen, and everybody now, it's like we're making time. Everybody's making time for everybody now, I think. Mm-hmm. After the pandemic, we haven't seen anybody. So
they're all out there.
Yeah. And so that's been kind of cool, hanging out. And we did some crazy cool photographs because I do have a gallery show coming soon, and I will. I'm hammering at the final details, and that's gonna be cool. But I couldn't have a show without having this man be represented because he's a big part of my last couple of years, so.
Yep.
And we're drinking bubble tea. I never had this before with tiger milk.
Tiger milk tea. No. All the cool kids are doing it until they get a heart attack.
Sorry for stuttering. There's so much stuff to cover with this guy.
We were talking about things that are going on.
And it's funny because you have to. There's some things you can talk on camera, and some things,
You guys have a week? I could probably tell you all about it in a week.
Yeah, and then the funny thing, because he's like the kid still for me, and he's driving up watching Rick and Morty, and I've only seen 2 episodes of Rick and Morty, and I've had more time. I'd probably see them more, but it's like, and so all you Rick and Morty fans out there.
Well, these little snippets of time that I get, in between the 5-10 minutes here and there, I'll throw on Rick and Morty and make it entertaining. Yeah. That's how I stay sane.
Yeah. And then he has 2 wonderful kids. You know, Caius and Eva, right? Eva?
Caius and Ava.
Ava. And it's funny because when I've never met your daughter yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I see your son all the time, long time ago, all the time. But the funny thing is, for me, is he was always so sullen, always kind of like introverted. And all of a sudden his sister came out and he's like, his second half showed up kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like
That's
a match
true.
set.
They are. And they irritate each other and they love each other. And, you know, it's
Brothers and
really
sisters.
fun to watch.
Yeah, brothers and sisters. You don't have any sisters, do you? You have brothers.
I have two brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went through similar things when we were kids and running around the house naked, you know, all those
Hawaiian
all
style.
those things that,
Yeah.
you know, you just go through this as parents. It's like, it's just normal. Take your time. Yeah. Then they get older, and then like when we got older, it was like suddenly that was like you know, we all know it's just there's a switch that turns one day, and then that no longer is a thing.
So I really want to talk a little bit about analog. Somehow I knew of you, and then I never. There was 3 bands I think around that time period. Chorney's band, Mono Conde or whatever.
Monokane.
Yeah, and then Analog, and there was another one I totally forgot. But there was kind of a thing where I wanted to do, and I couldn't really get to see you, but I heard kind of legendary things about you.
Well, there were 2 legends in that band, and actually more like there were like 5 singers through time of that band that I know of.
Yeah.
But the first one was one of the legends. Like he was the one that lived legendary. Like that guy just no matter what, and he might even be watching this, but he was the one that kind of set the precedent that this band was wild, right? And then I came in because he was thinking about, I don't know, I think he was moving away or something. And so he had left, and I guess there was some band differences with some of the members. And I guess 2 of them left. And I think the original guy was the drummer. And so then I did find out that they had issues because like the drummer wrote this song that was completely like, how could you dare stab me in the back, you beep and beep, but in so much other words that were poetic songwriting that we did record. I think it's called Stuck Out in the Rain. Anyway, I probably shouldn't talk about that, but I mean, it just serves to say that like there was some things, and then I came in and I started singing with them. But you know me, I always want to kind of like take it to the next level. So I started, you know, at a young age, I was trying to like get the band to turn into like a touring band, like one that could go the distance. And either I didn't have the vision, or we didn't have the time, or something just didn't work, or it was a combination of all those factors. And then we couldn't take it to the next level. So we started getting really good in Waikiki, right? We started getting like to the point where people started like believing in us, and we were recording. But then I knew somehow that we weren't going to get to the next level. Around the same time, I started to get like these new offers and stuff. That band that we recorded with, though, I convinced the guys to change the name to Analogic. I don't know why I did that, because you know, it doesn't really matter at this point. But I thought it was cooler. So I presented to the guys. They were cool with it. And then we recorded. And, you know, it was good. We had some good times. And that was that chapter.
Yeah. There's always a point where I'm like a friend, like how did you come into my life? How did we cross paths the first time? And I think the first time I saw you was you opened Tavana at the Crossroads.
Oh yeah.
You were his guest. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that was interesting too, because I had no idea what we were going to do. I had seen that he was doing that Crossroads thing for a bit. And then he asked me to jump on, and then I was like, yeah, man, totally. So I come up, and then like we both start kind of going at it, like dueling guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, that was a fun time on that stage. And, you know, I really admire his playing. He's got the blues thing down. He's always been ahead of his time in terms of, you know, knowing his stuff and then being able to deliver on that next level. You know, like he has that, what is his name? The guy that sings, like Muddy Waters. Yeah. He's got that kind of like grit to him. Yeah.
He has definitely the Delta blues someplace in him.
Right. Yeah.
And not the B.B. King blues, but the Delta blues with Sun House and the Lead Belly and the Howley Wolves and stuff. And Duffin, and he never really listened to slide players. That's all natural to him.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And then he does have that Howling Wolf kind of big voice in certain songs.
And then, and that effect came into play right when, I mean, me and his history goes back long before that. Like I was playing one day with a kick drum, just by myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he walked in, I can't remember, or he saw a video or something like that, but we talked about it. And I'm not saying it was because of me or anything, but I think he had the idea long before that. But then he starts like playing this kick drum regularly. And then he starts switching to pedals.
Yeah.
Right? And that made it a little bit more easy for him to access these sounds. And so he would go to his performance, and every single performance I see people just jumping all over the place because he had the band. He really had the band sound down from the low end to the high end.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm trying to remember. I think we were at the Kellys one day, and you jumped on stage, and it was a total. Because when you play, usually you compose. It's not like this crazy. Sometimes you get crazy, but you don't get that crazy. But I guess it was at Kelly's, and when you jumped on stage to do a song with the band, and it's like, holy shit, another album came out. I don't remember what day it was, or the part of it. It was like kind of cool.
I like to play.
Yeah. And the cool thing too, at the Hokus a couple years ago, I mean, you let loose there on stage. There's another side of you came out. That's kind of like before Carly and everybody else came out. That one thing you did about yourself, that was really kind of cool.
And I think that was when I found out that. Actually, I want to say I found that out when I was about 8 or 9, because my dad brought me out at the second birthday bash, and I had this plaid shirt, long sleeve shirt on, and I remember Willie K was playing that night, and then that was when he was young and he had his band. He was going from island to island, and everybody was there. It was like 9,000 strong or something like that. Everybody had their hands up and they're all going nuts. And then my dad brings me out on stage and I was like, what? I'd never done that. I just saw him out on stage and I was like, yeah, that's my dad. Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I get out there and I had just recently learned to moonwalk, and I knew my dad had this planned, but he made me come out and do the moonwalk in front of like 9,000 people. Now, when a kid does that in front of a crowd like that, and he do it well, you'll get some response. And they went literally nuts. And from there, I kind of knew that like it's the bigger crowd that I enjoy and wanna be around than like the small crowds. And the quest became, how can I make that happen technically? And it's still the quest. Like, how do I pull that off so that everyone can be as impressed as they were when I was 9 years old? I've been chasing it since.
Yeah. Because it's for big crowds. We kind of talked a little bit about this. It's for me, it's back and forth. A big crowd, but you have a bigger stage, better lights, and a little more space. But I'm still a punk guy. I still like small crowds, and I get right in your face, and I like that intimacy.
If they're cool like you, it's different.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in front of a bunch of people like you, that's a whole different thing. Like the animal will come out.
Yeah.
Because it knows that and we have that common link. But I mean, I perform in a lot of restaurants and it's a different vibe. Yeah. So, but I can see a need, feel a need, I guess, in that regard.
Yeah.
So I'm down to just play some healing music for people, no matter where.
We had some fun times, and I would you graciously let me not suggest songs. Like one time, it's like, what's the very first song you learned, or complete? And it was like that Cure song, or whatever. And then that was kind of cool. That brought that to.
That was the first song that I played at Anna Bananas when I want to say 21 or 22, and I took this girl that I was interested in. That sealed the deal. Was when I went up and sang this song. And if not for Tim, who we called Yoda, bass player, he was the one that gave me the encouragement to go up and play.
Yeah.
Because I was just going to watch it and have fun. I had no idea I'd be playing in a band ever. And then he said, like, why don't you come up and play, And then I played, and it was him and some other folks. I can't exactly remember their names right now, but Jesse Savio was the MC of that open mic. Yeah. He knows. Jesse,
Yeah.
You were there. Changed my life, man. That one moment when I got up and I sang Just Like Heaven. I almost didn't know any other songs. Like my song log now is like something like 4,000 songs. Yeah. I mean, I need lyrics and to read along every now and again. But
Okay, well, so how many albums do you have out?
I want to say albums. I have like 4, maybe.
Yeah.
And they progressively got better. I have 2 EPs.
Yeah.
The EPs are actually the famous works, and they're the ones that are delivering a lot of recognition nowadays, or radio player. And I've been super lucky in that regard to have worked with some great folks. One I'm most proud of, though, that I did all by myself is Plumeria and Jet Fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Not the idea. The idea actually came from some folks of mine that live in the Bahamas. Bahamas? Yeah, Bahamas. They're from Canada. And they said, like, when you get to Honolulu, like, there's always this smell. And I was like, dude, I totally know what you guys are talking about. It's like a mix of, like, plumerias. And he's like, yeah, it's like plumerias and jet fuel. And I was like, exactly. And they were like, you need to write a song about that. And I was like, yes. So I went and I wrote this song about the journey coming to Hawaii and then leaving Hawaii. So I thought everyone could relate that way. If it was just from Hawaii, leaving Hawaii, it kind of doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
It's a touristy type of song. But the arrangement was done completely by me in my house, because I love the way that song sounds.
What EP's off that off of?
It's the higher EP. It's the one that won the Hoku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want a Hoku?
I got
When?
a Hoku, dude. I'm so...
I missed it.
In 2020,
Yeah.
There was some stiff competition.
Yeah.
I highly respect Anna. Mm-hmm.
And then just went on from there. And, before you know it, my best friend and I had a magazine. We Xeroxed. And then, hi, we're back. And then at the end of the days, we were 100,000 issues worldwide. I was on stage with the White Snake and everybody. It was like hanging out. That's Alice Cooper hanging out kind of thing. It was a lucky, blessed. But the main thing is we tried to be so professional. It was stupid. I mean, we had to be, some punk ass kid.
And you were.
Yeah. I mean, so I didn't do any drugs in the 80s. And so, because it was all film and you had to go through, and I think it's my portfolio really has big strength to it because it's documenting something, but it's something you love and you want to be a part of, and you can't make that mistake of being, this side or that side. You have to be, kind of professional. And then that's how things work out. And I was lucky when I moved here, one of my best friends, Bob Nobadian, who writes my books, he edited my 2 books, and he's like now a documentary filmmaker. And long story boring, he worked for American Music at Huntington Beach, and they handled Cecile and Capono.
Oh, wow.
And then when Henry did his Spirit Dancer album, he flew Bob out for 3 weeks, and Bob was the promotions director for Spirit Dancer.
Wow.
So when I told Bob I was moving out here, he said, you got to talk to Capono first thing. And but my priorities were I had to get my first book done.
Mm-hmm.
And so the day I sent my last CD to my writers, I took off to Duke's. And Henry and I have been friends ever since.
Wow.
I was a social media director before there was called social media.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was on MySpace, and I did a couple album covers for C&K. Mm-hmm. And I did some stuff for him for the Wild Hawaiian. Oh. And the Dukes people still use my photograph for Dukes on Sunday. So that's kind of cool. And then the good thing, I get to meet this island is amazing for the talent that's on here. Mm-hmm. Not just rock, but there's jazz, there's reggae, there's blue, there's tons of Hawaiian music and slack key. And I'm just thankful that you guys let me, shoot you guys and stuff.
Yeah, and it's on all islands, not just this island too.
Yeah. I'm kind of partial to Oahu somehow.
Oh, I mean, we live here.
Even though my grandfather's from the Big Island. So, yeah, he's full Hawaiian from the Big Island. So, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And so, you didn't know that, did you? Yeah.
Another.
Yeah. But, so that was kind of cool. So how can people find your music?
Well, my music
the important question.
Well, I often tell people just look up Plumeria and Jet Fuel or Mama Loves You along with my name, which is Kamuela. But you can also go to kamuelamusic.com. It doesn't really have any links that lead to my music aside from like YouTube vids and whatnot. I actually should post the Mama Loves You video because there's 2 of them made now. I made one specifically for our family documenting my children, and that's kind of the introductory video to the next step for me, which is to make a bunch of videos for all the songs that I produce. And obviously that's no easy task, but I've committed to trying to finish it all, and we'll see what happens.
Good. Yeah. So, like, Spotify or iTunes and all that stuff, right?
Spotify, iTunes, yeah, you just spell my name, Kamuela Kahoano, and there's only one of me. So there's a Kamuela Kimokeo, really great slacky artist, one of the best out of Hawaii, and I often recommend him as much as I recommend myself. Um, but for me, it's just Kamuela Music, at Kamuela Music. And the projects that we're going to be moving forward on in the future, at least me as a producer, and my projects, are more video inclusive. And so it's going to be kind of fun. There's a lot of things happening um, that I can't really talk about until they've happened. So, but let's just say it deals with like family, deals with having adventures, deals with and then on the music side, all the different types of things that I'm doing, all the different genres of music that I'm doing, Slaki, the Kihoalu Festival, and then coming back and then doing my music. And I just did a celebration of life for Nathan Yuen, who was a photographer himself, and he documented a lot of Hawaii's like endemic species and this and that, indigenous species, and he always put things in frames according to the video we saw at the end. And he had a pretty cool life, and he was linked in with all of the Kukia'i Mauna movement, the Aoli TMT thing. So they all showed up at the funeral, and we had a nice send off for him, and so that was cool. But I mean, I've been doing it all. I've done over 900 weddings at this point.
Oh yeah,
and
aren't you the number one wedding singer on Tie the Knot or whatever?
I don't really like rank myself, but I'll say this, and I this is kind of dangerous saying this on film. So maybe I'll half say it. What do you think?
Well, okay, put it this way: if you're coming here to get married, you need a singer. He's your man. How's that?
That's pretty good.
Okay,
I like that.
So where do you play lately? I mean, you play everywhere. So we know Nico's down the street.
All right, Nico's 12 to 2. Right now I'm at Alohilani Swell Bar from 6:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday nights. So that's 2 gigs in that day. And then Wednesdays I'm doing Mina's Fish House, which is out at Four Seasons Ko'olina. And then that's from 6 to 9. And then Thursday, Friday are kind of like, just depends. I usually put up my schedule on at Kamuela Music, my IG, and every month I try to post my schedule. It has a picture of me, like rocking out, and then it has the information on public venues and stuff. And then I try to balance that with a whole mess load of like private functions, if I can, and the rest is like the video stuff that I'm doing and working on. That'll all be posted to YouTube under the channel Kamuela's Cool-ish. For now.
Yeah. Now that you've mentioned Ko'olina and they're bringing one, because you used to be at Rumfire on Saturdays, right?
I was at Rumfire. Yeah, I was doing Rumfire. Same time Tavana was doing Rumfire.
Yeah. And then Ko'olina opened up and snagged both of you guys over there. But I think I saw you.
No comment.
I probably saw you at Rumfire once. So yeah.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we both saw each other watching Tavana.
Yeah. Tavana popped in my life. Yeah, Tavana. Sooner or later we'll get together. Good seeing you last night.
I didn't want to hear you.
No. We have to work up and.
Hey, for once, Tavana, I beat you to something. How's that? Yay for me.
Well, it's like trying to get our schedules together and stuff. And I wanted to save him. I'm trying to get everybody, and then probably. Kapono sooner or later, probably like next year, because all of a sudden we'll get the busy season for Henry. Henry will be busy everywhere. And so, but I mean, it's just, I want to talk to everybody. And you see all my buddies that I haven't seen in years.
He's got some big buddies.
Yeah. It just, I know it's cool because, and then I'm trying to get Keith Batlin. Keith.
Brother Keith.
Yeah, you're next. So I'm going to have Eaton negotiate for us. Because you never answer your phone, Biggie. So what else is going on then? I mean, it's just now. I knew you before you were dad, and now that you're a dad, how much life has changed? I mean, okay, this is one thing. All my friends that I know having the first time a dad, I would tell them the same thing. I would say, change every diaper, Everything you can do for your child. If he has a glimmer, you talked about it. Keep communication open, because I know I love my dad, but it was always, I had to know what he knew before he talked to me anything. And with my kids, I'm very open to what they're doing. I know their friends. We hang out. We always talk about whatever. And so the communication is really important. How's it being a dad?
It's great, man. I enjoy the biggest thing I enjoy about it is just seeing them and knowing that I can just give them a hug and that they can't stop me. that's my favorite part. Is I'll go home and I'll be like, all right, come here, give me a hug. Okay, quick one. No, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
And then send them off. And we haven't really gotten to the point where I'm celebrating their advances, but milestones, there've been a few, and we're coming along nicely. My daughter is kind of like she's ahead of her time, so we're going to be watching that, and we're trying to make a decision actually right now on if it's going to be a special gifted school or if it's going to be like regular school.
Yeah.
Because we both made a decision that we think she can handle it. She's got enough fundamentals in her brain to like impress most 7-year-olds, and she's 2.5.
Yeah.
And so I have a feeling she'll understand mathematics way early.
Mm-hmm.
She already knows like 1,000, 10,000, 200,000. Yeah. We'll have her working on like pi eventually. We'll see what happens there. She can get pi. She can get like 22 digits remembered quickly. Then I think we'll consider that. If anybody has options, like if anybody could guide us on that one, we're totally open to hear about it, because we don't know, right? School is just defined by what they tell you. But if your child is advanced and could be done with school in 10 years, why not let them?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm like, what do you call it? Own opinion on that one?
Yeah. Well, this was the Waldorf school.
Waldorf?
Yeah. In Hawaii Kai.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Tamani went there.
Oh, really?
Let's name drop some more names here.
Well, congrats, Tamani. I didn't know that you were doing that.
I believe so. And next time I'll see you, like, Bell.
Yeah. Hope you're doing good, Tamani, wherever you are. And
anybody want to say hi to you?
Everybody. I mean, I see a lot of people from time to time. We don't really get to talk story or talk about our projects.
Well, this is important. This is why one of the things I want to do, because we would talk a little bit after gigs. I mean, actually, we would have some conversations
over a beer.
Yeah,
we're lucky.
Or whiskey.
Or whiskey, or 7-Up.
Yeah. But no, we always made a point. We always talked story for a little bit, so that's kind of cool. Other people, I mean, it's like hi bye kind of thing, and it's like we want to say things, so sometimes you just can't. And then since we're kind of almost back to full swing, let's play catch up. The only thing that really hasn't happened yet is venues for full bands. I mean, Glenn. I saw Glenn from Hawaiian Brian's, and they're putting even more stuff in there. They're always continuing, and so Hawaiian Brian's is probably the place.
I don't want to talk controversy or anything.
Yeah,
but I can't believe that girl said it was their fault.
Good girl.
She got like neural injuries or something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear about this.
She was saying that it was the negligence of the bartenders selling too much alcohol to them. I'm like, at a concert, how are you going to remember everybody's face?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway, that's not even worth our time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Switching
gears.
Go. So, but anyway.
But thank you, Hawaiian Brian's, for supporting live music. And is that called the Slacky Lounge now?
Yeah, the Slacky Lounge at the Crossroads.
Crossroads is the bigger one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good distinction. Crossroads, the big one, and Hawaiian Brian's. Slacky Lounge, the smaller one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I get it confused all the time.
And they're really putting a lot of things in there and then trying, even though the dance stuff is really big right now, and they pack in a lot of people.
Dance?
The EDMs or whatever it's called.
Oh.
Yeah, they have DJs coming from around the world. You see these big promo shots as DJs mixing.
Is that where they're doing it now?
Yeah. I mean, they still have bands.
When I was young, you had Black Eyed Peas coming to do their, their DJ thing, and they would do it at KCC. And I would go, and I got to meet them, and they were really cool. Anyway.
It
just meander throughout my thoughts in my brain, my past
It's cool.
But,
I should turn the camera on so you can see the view, but I'm not. So anyway, hey, dude, it's been a pleasure.
likewise.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
And, I'll track you down sooner or later again. You start.
Yeah, for all my peeps, this is Bill Hale, legendary photographer. All you got to do is look up his name, look up his photography, and you'll see that he's one of the greats that ever did the craft.
Yeah. So if you're like Metallica, Bill Hale, and then Metallica, and all my interviews come up, and
yeah, I didn't want to say it because I didn't know if you have like a legal thing.
No, fuck them.
Okay.
they're fucking. They're
Metallica.
They're worth they're like $3 million each, or so. 30 million, 300 million.
Gotta be like $300
million each one.
300, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew them. I scraped up money buying cheeseburgers when we were kids, kind of thing. So now I was like, whatever. And Lars, you know where I'm at, so come and talk to me one day.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, you know, is to be photographed by him is an honor.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean, I'm just happy that
I had to jump at least 3 times.
Well, that was kind of cool. And I told myself today, no, he's not going to jump. And then, of course, let me jump.
I jump.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay. Well, we're out of here, folks. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Kamuela. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you,
Give my love to Tiff and the kids.
I will.
And then I'll meet your daughter sooner or later. Because Caius was everywhere. You take him to Dukes and stuff. And I've seen,
Oh, yeah. She'll be running in the next election.
Yeah. It's good. On the progressive me platform.
maybe apple juice platform. Should be running for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. From an undisclosed location in Honolulu, this is us. See ya.
Aloha. Ending.